Emeritus Senior Minister Goh Chok Tong says that Singapore is now at an inflection point of its development as a society, where there's a need for some changes to avoid a midlife crisis. He made the point at the Marine Parade GRC National Day dinner. Mr Goh says a new social compact between the people and the government will have to be forged. He added that there's a need to write a new and inspiring chapter of the Singapore story, which could also mean refreshing or reworking some policies and programs.
A day after our Singapore Conversation chairman Heng Keat gave the nation an overview of issues which concern the people most during the discussions, Mr Goh also weighed in to talk about averting a midlife crisis for the country.
I dare say that Prime Minister Loong and his cabinet are having a tougher time governing Singapore than Mr Lee Kuan Yew and I had. And it's not going to get easier.
That's because today's external environment is more complex and uncertain. But domestic challenges are even greater, among them rising costs of living, slower economic growth, an aging population, and a better educated younger generation with high expectations of life. So Mr Goh's question to Singaporeans: how should the government and people respond to these challenges?
Some policies and programs that have served us well in the past need updating, or maybe even an overhaul, to ensure that they continue to serve their intended purposes. A new social compact between the people and the government will also have to be forged. Otherwise, I fear that Singapore will begin to go downhill. The government has already begun reviewing and improving policies and issues that cause the most anxiety to Singaporeans.
The first is jobs, and that's most crucial for Singaporeans. Mr Goh says the government is trying to ensure that growth is inclusive and that the workplace is progressive so that Singaporeans have access to good jobs. The government has also pledged to make HDB flats affordable, and Mr Goh says he considers this a very big commitment, as it will go a long way in helping young Singaporeans to plan for the future and also start a family. The next area which the government is addressing is affordable healthcare, and Mr Goh says he's glad that the Health Ministry is conducting a comprehensive review of the healthcare financing in Singapore. Mr Goh adds that citizens are entitled and indeed encouraged to give their views and suggest improvements where the government can do better.
But we must not pile unrealistic pressures and demands on the government. It is not in the country's long-term interests if the government does not have the time and political space to plan and think strategically and long-term. We will all be worse off if the government of the day is chased from pillar to post, forced to apply band-aid solutions to complex problems, or to flip-flop policies to stave off populist pressures.
Mr Goh's call to Singaporeans: support the government in areas that will ensure the country's long-term success, even if it involves certain sacrifices sometimes.
Thank you so